Have you ever heard of a goddess who willingly walked into the underworld, knowing she might never return? This isn't a modern fantasy story. It's one of humanity's oldest written myths. The incredible journey of Inanna, the Sumerian goddess of love, war, and the heavens. Inanna was the queen of the great city of Uruk, powerful and revered. But her ambition knew no bounds. She set her sights on a realm no one dared to conquer. The Kur, the land of no return, ruled by her formidable older sister, Ereshkigal, the queen of the dead. Why did she go? The texts say she wanted to witness the funeral rites of Ereshkigal's husband, but knowing Inanna, she likely wanted to extend her own power into the shadows. Before leaving, Inanna prepared meticulously. She adorned herself in her finest robes and jewelry, each piece imbued with divine power. She also instructed her loyal vizier, Ninshuba, on what to do if she didn't come back. If 3 days and 3 nights passed, Ninshuba was to go to the great gods of heaven and plead for her rescue. This was her insurance policy, a crucial piece of foresight. Put her plan in place, Inanna descended. She arrived at the first of 7 gates leading into the heart of the underworld. The gatekeeper, Neti, was shocked. No living being, not even a god, could simply walk into the core. Following Ereshkigal's strict orders, Neti allowed Inanna to pass, but with a condition. At each of the 7 gates, Inanna was forced to remove 1 piece of her divine regalia. At the first gate, she surrendered her crown. At the second, her earrings. At the third, her necklace. Gate by gate, she was stripped of her power and her identity. Her divine garments, her staff, her rings all, were taken. By the time she reached the 7th and final gate, she was completely vulnerable, standing naked and powerless before her sister's throne. Ereshkigal was not happy to see her. Filled with rage and suspicion, she subjected Inanna to the judgment of the Anunnaki, the 7 judges of the underworld. They fixed upon her the eye of death. Inanna was turned into a corpse and hung on a hook, left to rot in the darkness. The Queen of Heaven was dead. 3 days and nights passed on earth. As instructed, the faithful Ninshuba began her desperate mission. She first went to the great god Enlil, but he refused to help, saying Inanna had brought this upon herself by meddling in the affairs of the underworld. She then went to the moon god Nana, who also refused. Finally, Ninshuba approached Enki, the god of wisdom and magic. Enki, ever the compassionate trickster, was moved by Inanna's plight. He fashioned 2 small asexual beings from the dirt under his fingernails. He gave them the food of life and the water of life, and sent them down to the underworld with specific instructions. These beings slipped past the gatekeeper and found Ereshkigal in deep mourning, groaning in pain. They mirrored her cries, showing empathy for her suffering. Touched by their compassion, Ereshkigal offered them a gift, anything they wanted. They asked only for the corpse hanging on the hook. Ereshkigal agreed. They sprinkled the food and water of life onto Inanna's body, and miraculously she rose from the dead. But there was a catch. A fundamental rule of the underworld is that no one who enters can ever leave without providing a substitute. So, as Inanna ascended back to the light, she was escorted by the Gala, the demons of the underworld, who were tasked with finding her replacement. They first came across her vizier, Ninshuba, dressed in rags and mourning. Inanna refused to let them take her. They then visited her 2 sons, but again Inanna protected them. Finally, they arrived back in her city, Uruk, and there she saw a sight that filled her with fury. Her husband, the shepherd king Dumusid, was sitting on her throne, dressed in splendid clothes, not mourning her at all. In a flash of rage, Inanna pointed at him. "Take him," she declared to the demons. Dumusid was dragged away to the underworld to take her place. This myth explains the changing of the seasons, as Dumusid was later allowed to return for half the year, while his sister took his place for the other half. The descent of Inanna is more than just a story. It's a profound exploration of power, death, sacrifice, and rebirth. It shows us that even gods must face their own mortality, and that sometimes the greatest journeys are the ones that lead us into darkness to find a new kind of light. What do you think of this ancient epic? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from our ancient past.